What's going on, guys? Today we're back on the Z3 with a full exhaust build. Alright guys, so yes, the Z3 is back. So I got this all finished up, the whole wide body, in the fall sometime. I really didn't get a chance to drive it too much, and then this winter has been pretty crappy. But now we're into March, so we are getting close to better weather, and so I want to start driving this. And one thing I wanted to change about it was the exhaust. So right now, engine-wise, it is completely stock. Although I will say it is pretty peppy. It is definitely a lot better than the E46, even though it has the same exact engine. Even though the engine's still stock now, I am planning to add some more power to it. So I thought adding an exhaust would be good before I do that. All right, so here's what we're working with. So this is kind of unique here because this exhaust has basically like the headers way up there and then these like kind of down pipes. So there's two here. And then it goes into one pipe. And then this is actually the cat. So the cat is like halfway back. So you can kind of see this is like halfway back the car, which is like the furthest back I've ever seen. So basically all I need to do, because I'm building a cat back system, I want to leave the cat in place, is right here we're gonna have to build to the rest, which is like really short. It's just this section. And currently you can see this is like a resonator and then a really big muffler back here. It is really quiet. It's a little bit louder than the E46. The E46 is silent. This has just a tiny bit of growl to it. But if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of both of those and just replace it with a single pipe. So we're gonna do a single pipe the whole way back to about here. We're gonna split it out to dual so we can do a new dual tip, which should look way better than this. I think this is like a dual 2 1/4, 2.5, something like that. You can see it doesn't even fill the cutout that they made. So we're gonna go with a dual 3 and that should look perfect in that cutout. And luckily I actually had this exhaust off already because I dropped this whole rear end to basically completely rebuild it. All new bushings, and I had to weld new tabs on where the trailing arms attach so that I could make this an adjustable rear end, because basically these cars, once you lower them, they have a crazy amount of camber and nothing's adjustable. So I had to do all that just to be able to align it. So now we can come over here. And by the way, if you haven't seen, I've done some testing with this new e-bike, and we just finished some off-road testing and took it off some jumps. Thing is a beast. If you're interested, there's a link down below and you can get $100 off with code CORE1. But now we'll go on to what we're doing today. So these are the parts I'm gonna use. So I have a 2.5 inch flange. So the exhaust right now in there is 2.5 inch, but I'm gonna wanna step it up. And especially if I'm gonna add more power to this, I don't wanna keep it at 2.5. So I'm gonna step it up to 3. So that's what this is doing here. This is a 2.5 to 3 inch adapter. We've got a 3 inch flex pipe. Currently there's no flex pipe in the system. And like I've said before, it's nice to have a flex pipe so things don't move around on you too much when they expand. Here we'll have some straight 3 inch, and then I've got some different curves here. Usually just buy some U-bends and then cut them up to what I need. And then out the back, I did actually buy a splitter here. I've made these in the past. If you want to see that, I made a really complex one for the 135 when I did a dual tip for that. But it takes a lot of time and it's kind of hard to do, so I figured I'd save some time on this one and I bought a splitter. And then from there, all I'll need to do is add 2 more pieces of 3 inch out the back to make the tips. And then again, I'll be using stainless rod here, so everything here is 304 stainless, and the rod will be used to make the hangers. I will be TIG welding everything with the Miller here. I will be using argon to shield, and then I'll also be filling the inside with argon once we do all the final welds. This will be a very similar process to the Range Rover that I recently did, but this I'm actually kind of looking forward to because it's way simpler. It's only one pipe versus the dual that I had going the whole way back on the Range Rover, and it's also probably less than half the length because, like I said, it's gonna start like in the middle of the car and then go back to the back bumper. First up, I'll rip the old exhaust off and then we can start with all the fabrication. All right guys, so I just finished up the exhaust. It did go pretty smoothly. I basically did the same process as the Range Rover with having it on the car and off the car. Just started from the front and built my way back. And I did my best to tuck it up into the car as much as I can. It does go underneath that rear subframe. That's like right in this section, and I think I have like a 1/4 inch clearance pretty much. I tucked it up as much as I could so it's not scraping all the time. I think it should be fine. I went ahead and used 2 hangers in the rear here. Probably didn't need to, but just wanted to be safe that it doesn't move around at all. This system is much lighter than the stock one. The stock one is 38 pounds and mine is 14, so that's a savings of 24 pounds there. And everything did weld up pretty nice. This flex pipe is always a little bit weird, just the construction of them. You're like welding through a couple different layers of stainless, and also that braiding comes through. But then all the other welds always weld up nice. As long as you have your fitment, they should all weld up easily without any filler. These 2 welds are not mine. Those are from the factory welds from Vibrant, who makes that splitter. And then these are my pipes here. These tips actually just slid in there, which was nice because you could slide it into exactly where you want it. And I did decide to go with a stagger tip. I had it straight at first, but I think I like this stagger a little bit more, especially on the BMWs. It kind of flows with the bumper a little better. And I did polish both of these on the ends before I slid them in there because it makes it a lot easier. So I just polished basically this last 6 inches because that's all you will see. And the hangers were much easier on this. That one's pretty long just because that was pretty far away. And that's because I don't have a muffler. You can see over here on this big muffler, it was the whole way on this edge, so I basically had to span that whole gap with that hanger. I am definitely glad I bought that splitter this time. Made everything go much faster, and like I said before, this is a lot smaller. So this took me, I think, probably around 20 hours. In comparison to the Range Rover exhaust, took me over 40 hours. So the last thing left to do is to throw it on and see how it sounds.